What is up? Welcome into Attacking Third alongside Jen Beattie and Darian Jenkins. I'm Lisa Carlin. It is NWSL Playoffs Eve because it all kicks off tomorrow. I've got the butterflies in my stomach. I've got my popcorn ready to watch all these games. Jen, Darian, are you guys ready for the playoffs? It's freaking here, man.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. No, it's big games as well. I think I love decision day. Kind of came down to the wire, seeing who would get it over the line, and I'm pumped to get these games going starting Friday tonight.
Yeah, it feels the timing is right. We're in the middle of the holidays. The weather's changing. We had a bright moon last night. The
Oh.
quarterfinals are here. Yes, I set my crystals out, everybody, once again.
Good.
No, the vibes are high. I'm excited because we finally get some true deciding games. I think, like Jen said, decision day was fun, but now it's make or break. You have one game to do it all. You have 90 minutes. Who's peaking at the right time? Who can get ish done? I think we're gonna get an upset. So I'm excited for this weekend. I think my bracket will be busted match day. Yeah. So it's somewhere on my bracket, it's gonna get busted. There's gonna be an upset.
So you didn't make your bracket with your upset in mind. You made it with
I did what I thought was most likely. Okay. And the more that I look at it and just the nature of playoffs, I'm looking at Louisville. I think they could possibly do it.
Yeah.
Wait, that's funny. That's funny because we have the same bracket. I think that
ours is exactly the same.
We guess the same, but I feel like our minds work the same. We think logically, and then we think
we're very pragmatic
about this, and then maybe come back and reassess. Because I look at the Portland Wave of maybe that being not necessarily an upset. But I put Wave, but I could potentially see it.
At Providence Park, that's a big upset.
Right?
There's
so you and I might go back on our words, but it's all good.
There's a lot of different scenarios that could happen. I mean, if you're following some of these Louisville players on social media, they are like, people are counting us out.
I love that they're talking their shit, as they should.
As they absolutely should, because not a lot of people have Louisville advancing because they take on Washington Spirit to start. So we're going to talk about it. The quarterfinal matchups. We had a special interview yesterday with Lily Real. So if you want to listen to that whole thing, you can go to our W. Galazzo YouTube channel and watch all of that. But we will talk about it and drop some of her nuggets in here. Plus, we're going to head across to England and do a check-in with the Barclays WSL. So thanks, everyone, for hanging with us, especially if you're live with us on YouTube. We see you in the chat. Thank you. Drop your predictions for NWSL quarterfinals. Who's going to advance? What are some of the upsets going to be? What can we expect? But let's talk about it. I mean, this is the biggest game that is on CBS on Saturday at noon. Number 2 Washington Spirit against number 7 Racing Louisville. The one that, Darian, you just said, hey, this might be some of these upset opportunities with Racing Louisville because Washington are the overwhelming favorites in this game. However, anything can happen. And there are some question marks around Washington because they only have 1 win in their last 4 matches, and they've conceded 6 goals over that time. Plus, if you looked at their decision day availability report, my goodness, it was like an encyclopedia, a paragraph of names. How much of a concern, Darian, is this for Washington regarding the availability and their recent results?
I'm scratching my braids. This is a big concern for the Spirit because you look at the superstars they have and the chemistry that they were building throughout the season. They had moments of brilliance. I think Rebecca Bernal was a huge addition, but she's also been injured, also coming in and out. They've had to have players fill in that 6th position in the back line. And you see the weaknesses when she's not there, and then you move into the attack. The players that have been out, Lacey Santos has had her moments, Corey Bethune, Trinity Rodman's been out. I mean, they have so many players that we don't know if they're going to be available or how many minutes they can shoulder this weekend. And if you're Louisville, the team that everybody is doubting, everyone's like, woo, the darlings, they made it into their first ever playoffs. I would be like, F that. Everyone's written us off. We're going to come play the best 90 minutes that we possibly can. And we're going to prove everyone wrong. We're going to bust all your brackets. That's what I would be thinking. So for the Spirit, they have to put away their chances. They have to put away their chances and be so concise in their set pieces, their set piece defending, their transitions into defense, because that's how Louisville, they don't play the most beautiful style of soccer, that that's how they could potentially hurt them. But I don't know if you feel the same, Jen, if you think Spirit maybe has it in the bag or not.
I'm not sure I'm still confident in them on paper with, the history of the club, these matchups against Louisville, it being Louisville's first ever playoff appearance, and wondering how they'll manage that. I love the confidence, don't get me wrong. Of course, you have to turn up to a playoff game thinking you're going to win or you've already lost. I think the beauty of Spirit, or what I've seen, and not in just these last 2 games, right? Because to have that kind of lack of momentum going into end of regular season with 2 losses back to back against Pride and then Utah on the road is a difficult place to be in. Of course, they have injuries, but I think I always respect that whoever comes onto the pitch, they still know the identity of Spirit. They still try and execute the game plan and still try to keep the way that they want to play, and other players have stepped up. So I'm still confident that Spirit can go and do it. I know that they were never going to risk people in that last game against Utah, right? It was a no risk. So I think the injury list was probably over accentuated just to protect them. I'm sure we'll see many more names, probably not Rodman yet, but we'll still see more names for Spirit show up for a playoff game. But Louisville's momentum, man. Last 5 games, they've been picking up loads of points. That's the run you want coming into. So I get it from their perspective. Why not?
I do
think
as well.
I will say, tough place to go.
Rowdy.
Really
Rowdy. I love playing there.
Yeah, Rowdy for sure.
I will say, when we look at the success of the teams that have had a great run into championships that we've kind of written off. I mean, we can talk about Gotham with Ali Krieger retiring. The scariness of, is Marta stepping away? Is this her last run with Orlando? We don't know. Is she going to re-sign at the end of the year? They did it for Marta. They did it for Ali Krieger. Bev Yanez is the coach of Louisville. Bev Yanez, former player turned coach. You saw she was celebrating more than anybody else when they made it into playoffs. And if you're a player and you're so motivated by her story, her journey, you want to do it for her. I don't know, y'all. I don't think Spirit has the same sort of motivation behind them.
No, I don't think they do either. But I think they have a different understanding of what it takes to compete in the playoffs, and they are at home.
Like, they don't need that.
I don't think they need that, Darian, because even if Trinity Rodman isn't playing, she's still involved and she's still having those conversations with the players. And that's exactly who I would want hyping me up before I go play this game. And the difference between Louisville and Washington in this game, to me, is going to come down to these really, really small moments, fine margins. And if this goes into extra time and into penalties, it is just going to lean more and more in the favor of Washington Spirit. If you look back to some of their regular season meetings, the most recent one, I think, was in August, and it was a 2-2 draw, but it was in the stoppage time at the end of the game that Washington scored. And that's where Washington has been clutch this year in final.
And Louisville's been horrible in the final minutes. Yeah.
They've dropped 15 points from winning positions this season. Now, that to me is like all on the mental side of it. How can they manage the game going into the very end of it? But I'd put the edge to Washington in those moments.
I don't know, y'all. Remember, Gotham nearly shot themselves in the foot going into playoffs. They waited until the final minutes of their own game and dropped, 4 positions before then finally making it, and then went on to win the whole thing. So crazier things have happened. I'm rocking with Big Perp. Oh no, I'm feeling some type of way about this weekend.
I love it. Rocking with Big Perp. Jen, what are you thinking?
So wait, are you already going against your bracket on the first preview?
Yeah, I am. I'm like, I wish I would have been more brave. I went very pragmatic.
Yeah.
And I should have added some flavor in. But I have faith.
I respect it. I think you saw how similar ours were and thought, I gotta change something. I'm still going with Spirit, guys. I'm gonna stay with it. I think they went protective mode on the road to Utah, and I think other players are going to show up, and they have more experience in these kind of positions. And I think I agree with what you said, Lisa, with kind of those final moments of a game and how playoff situations, cup moments, that kind of winner takes all for every single round. When Spirit start throwing numbers ahead, I would back them in those in those moments if it gets to that point.
I think this game could go into extra time. Absolutely. I think we could go into
Ugh.
OT. I know. I do though. You both are like,
Jen,
bleh.
get out of my brain.
So Darian, if Racing Louisville take down Washington Spirit, how does that rank on like the playoff upsets in NWSL history?
Oof, I'm trying to even run back big upsets. I mean, it might be number one just because this is Louisville's first time ever in the playoffs. Plagued with ninth place, finally making it in, exceeding expectations. It would be huge, especially for a Spirit squad that you look, like Jen said, at the names of the team that they have, and looking at Louisville, which is kind of like what I would say is more of a blue collar team. Like they really
Oh,
work together. When
absolutely.
they're on, they're all on.
Mm.
James Milner said, "D, my heart is with you, my head not so much." I mean, I agree. I'm going with my heart. I'm going with Bev.
I love
But it would
it.
be a massive upset.
If Bev could do this, I think it would be history, right? But that's the thing about Racing Louisville. They already kind of crossed that under or like over expected line because they made it into the playoffs. Everyone's kind of like,
They're
yay,
already the
we
darlings.
did it. Like it's almost like they've reached the precipice and they've done all that they can do in terms of the eyes of everyone else, the fans, the media. It's like they've already done it. They made it here. And if you're on Racing Louisville, that's probably going to piss you off and that's going to fuel you.
Yeah, like that's all we're good for is like what a playoff one game in. Shut up,
Exactly.
y'all.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's so terrifying. I'd be a little scared if I'm Washington, but I'm still going to stick with the Spirit. This isn't busting my bracket, but I really hope it does because that would be fun. So this is the big one that we have on Saturday on Big CBS at noon, Spirit versus Racing Louisville. So that's quarterfinal 1. Let's talk about Portland Thorns against San Diego Wave. Number 3 against number 6. Both meetings that they met in the regular season ended in 1-1 draws, but Portland has kind of surprised a lot of people towards the end of this season, finishing 3rd on decision day, securing
Third.
its own quarterfinal match. It is now for Portland Thorns their 11th postseason, most in the NWSL. They already have won 3 championships, most in the league, and their 7th home playoff match, the most for any team in the NWSL, including the 2022 semifinal versus San Diego when Portland beat them and went on to win the championship. So these teams have already met in a playoffs. But now this Thorns team is in the postseason and they have the experience over San Diego. Darian, how much does that change and play a factor in this meeting?
Does this Portland team have the
Yeah,
most
I was
experience? I mean,
thinking
like,
the same. I was like, don't get out of my brain.
yeah, does this young squad really have
Yeah.
that much experience in playoffs? Maybe Olivia Moultrie because she's been in this league since she was 7 years old. But shout out, she's been balling out. But I don't know. When I look at Portland, they're still a team of almost entire midfielders, and I love that. I think Rob Gale's done a brilliant job of bringing them together and sharing the load of who's scoring goals and how they're going to win games. And Providence Park is horrible to play at. You can't hear yourself think, you can't hear your teammates talk. The turf is difficult when you don't get a lot of time to prep on it. So they have the edge in that way. But when you look at San Diego, I mean, Jen, you can speak to this with Jonas, but I think that there's a big edge to it being a lot of your first times into playoffs where you're just going to go and ball. There's less pressure on you and way more pressure on Portland, especially at home. And his first season with the club, they've exceeded expectations from what we thought they were going to be in the offseason, losing all of their big players. And look at what they've created. And this is just year 1 of a revamp of San Diego Wave. I think that gives them a little bit more of an edge. And Portland, if Olivia Moultrie's not having a good game, I don't think that they'll win.
It all falls on Moultrie's shoulders and Darian's eyes.
It does.
I kind of see that though, because when she's clicking, the whole team kind of revolves around her, and she's had to do a lot of the heavy lifting this year, but she's risen to that occasion. I'm just not sure. I think to me, San Diego has more of the individual talent that they've gone through. The Wave has gone through this up and down season where they started so hot and they were proving everyone wrong. And then they hit a bit of a slump where it felt like it was so many of these individuals on San Diego trying to do too much, trying to overcompensate for the lack of team play that was happening. And now they've kind of hit their form. I think individually, you have to give a shout out to Dudinha because this player has 5 goals in the last 5 games. She has come into this league and made a statement. And the fact that it is the first playoffs for Jonas Eidevall, and for a lot of these players, Darian, I think that you can either approach it 2 ways. You get rocked because you're not sure what's going to happen and you don't even know like what this next level and next gear is that these teams have. And I believe despite Portland being a younger squad, they still have that. It's built into the identity of playing at Providence Parks and walking around their training facility and seeing the championship trophies. They have it instilled in their culture. Whereas for San Diego, they can also go at it and say, you know what, we're going to use our naivety and not give a crap about what anyone else says or the fact that we're going into this giant house of Portland Thorns. But the individual play for San Diego, to me, and the individual skill needs to be greater than the sum of its parts when they play against a Portland Thorns side that is all about the collective and all about the group in which Portland plays.
Jen, what do you think? Because I'm looking at Portland. I think if one of those sections on the field breaks down, San Diego have so much talent to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I think, I mean, you talked about there being a lot of midfielders in Portland, and then I kind of looked at that as goals can come from anywhere from a Wave perspective, and I still do believe that, whether it's Kenza Dali, Cascarino, they have quality that can really hurt a team, and knowing Jonas Eidevall and, you know, the way his European brain would work, he'll look at it as a mini cup competition, so he will be super experienced. And you know, these games are so different to regular season, and that's why we love it. That's why we love the hype around it. It can go down to the wire, it can go to extra time, anything can happen. Tactics can go out the window after 70, 80 minutes when people need to get through and get the win. But for me, I think, yeah, if Olivia Moultrie, she can get a goal from anywhere. That's what I think everyone loves about her, whether it's been snatch goals outside the box. That's why she's so impressive. So Wave have to be constantly... Did
you say a snatch goal?
Yeah, a quick touch and a quick finish. Like
I love that. I love your Scottishisms. These are my favorite things. These are my favorite things. I need to start writing them down.
How would you have interpreted that? Just out of curiosity. Because sometimes I do say things and I'm like, I don't know how
like
that went down.
Like a quick trigger finish or something, I guess. Or
that's what it is.
And that's what it is.
Yeah. Quick trigger. She's like fast feet. One touch finish, one touch, second touch finish. That's what is so impressive about her and like clinical. I completely lost my train of thought because we were on Snap. But no, what I will say is this, for me, this fixture was by far the closest one and hardest to predict. And I think overall, the way Portland have come through this season with the experience they lost and to be able to finish in the ladder the way they have done is so impressive. And it's a credit to all the experience that have left the legacy for these younger players to really show up every single week and finish the season the way they have. But I do think individual strength of San Diego Wave will tip it. I think they have the quality that can hurt and has been most impressive in my eyes watching them. When they're on it, I still think they're one of the best teams in the league, and that's why they're obviously in this position. But they, for me, if they can execute, knowing how good they can be, for me, they'll come out on top.
Individual skill from San Diego is so fun to watch, guys. It is so fun to watch. I have San Diego advancing in this match. What do you guys have?
San Diego.
Too. Yeah, I have San Diego getting to the finals.
Oh, you do?
I know Jen Beattie does too.
Yeah, you guys have the same bracket. It's so fun. That's hilarious. But you're already throwing it off.
I think I have Spirit, no? Spirit KC in the final.
Do you? Oh, I thought our final was the same.
Maybe
I'm wrong. I already busted my own bracket anyways, so I don't know who I'm talking about.
You don't
San Diego.
Know.
You have San Diego?
Yeah, producer is saying I have San Diego. That's how tight this thing is. That's how tight.
Same brackets, okay? So
Yeah.
you have San Diego going all the way with Kansas City, but potential for update. It starts here. This is a potential update because it is so close at Providence Park. Thorns versus Wave, number 3 versus number 6. It's 2 quarterfinals down. We got 2 more to go. Don't go anywhere. We're going to preview the other NWSL quarterfinals coming up next. Hey, welcome back to Attacking Third. Jen, did we give you a chance to go look up your bracket and see what's happening?
I did, because I knew I'd screenshotted it. Yeah, you're right. San Diego.
Because I remember I was hosting the show and I was like, oh, Jen and I have the same bracket.
Yeah. And I knew that. Right. Okay. My bad, everyone.
It's okay. So who do you have for this one, Jen? Kansas City, number 1 against number 8 Gotham.
You know what? I still can't believe Gotham finished 8th. That for me was a big shock. I don't think they should be in this position. No one wanted to be in 8th spot. So, you know, the team that they fielded obviously wasn't their fully strength team. After an international break, it's always going to be difficult. I still have Kansas City. Even though Gotham haven't conceded that many goals, I think they're second behind Kansas in goals conceded this season. I just can't write off Kansas City. I think they've been too impressive, and I can't even imagine what the Gotham dressing room was like after that result. I think it would have just been really disappointing. But in the same breath, I'm excited to see how they show up for it because they have to perform. They have to be defensively so sound against Kansas City going forward. And it's going to be, again, another massive game to watch. I can't wait to watch it, but I'm still tipping Kansas City. They're just, for me, they're too. I've put them all the way into the final, so I think a lot of people would feel the same. Gotham aren't a bottom. They aren't a number 8 team for me. I'm still surprised to see them there. Yeah. So with the personnel they have, especially up top, Jaden Shaw, Roosevelt, top players, they know they can go and score. That's the thing. Can they do it against Kansas City? Like they've got the firepower. So it's a tough one for Gotham, but I'm still tipping Kansas City.
Gotham can score, Jen, but they need a lot of chances to get there.
Yeah. And they're not going to get many against Kansas City.
And they're not going to get many. That's what I'm thinking. And I would argue that, yes, Gotham fell the 2 times they met Kansas City in the regular season this year, but this Gotham team looks really different. They are one of the most complete midfields that we're seeing in the NWSL, competing consistently with the skill that they have with that trio. Rose Lavelle is setting up Jaden Shaw consistently for success, which allows Jalen Howe to play some of the best football we have ever seen Jalen Howe play in this league right now. She's doing so well, but the fact that they fell on decision day to North Carolina 3-2 and conceded that many goals and they fell apart. I mean, this Gotham team looked terrible in this match. That is not the way you want to end your regular season, going into the biggest game of the year against the Shield winners, Kansas City at CPKC. And think of the seeding. Like, they could have been higher. They could have made this path a little bit easier for themselves. But also, like, if you're Kansas City, you're kind of like, crap, we have to play a pretty good team in Gotham at this point in the season, when maybe they could have played against someone a little different. But it's at home for KC, and they're so good. 22 games unbeaten at home for Kansas City. Are you kidding me?
I'm not going to lie. I don't think Kansas City's looking at this game against Gotham and like, oh, crap, we got to play Gotham. I don't think they care. I don't think they care at all at who it was going to be at whatever stage they're playing. I think Kansas City has that mentality from the season they've had. And, you know, we've all talked to Vladko. We get to talk to Lowe all the time. We interview their players every week because they're scoring goals and they're balling out whenever we have their Sunday night game. They are not worried about Gotham, who looked terrible in their decision day match. I think even with the concerns of who they're missing up top, they have so much depth and are so bought into the way that they play. And I think Vladko makes his in-game decisions are very, very smart. On the other side of the coin, I was perplexed with Gotham's team they put out in the back.
Ooh.
Why was Mandy on the left and not on the right? Why wasn't Lily Real starting? Because on their right side, where she was getting taken down. That's where they were being targeted, and it ended up working out for them. Well, working out for their opponent. And so going into this match, I think if Juan tactically sets up to try to shut down Kansas City's wingers with the best lineup he possibly can in their back, they have a better chance. But Kansas City, you are riding on that they just lost, had a very poor performance against North Carolina, and that it's your championship to lose.
Absolutely.
So I think they've got even more motivation going against a team that is coming off one of their worst games of the season, in my opinion.
The rotation for Gotham is a factor. Juan Carlos rotated a lot last week, I think, with all the different pieces coming in and out. And Esther, she has been hot and cold. I mean, it has not been great for them. But you're exactly right, Darian. It is Kansas City's championship to lose. And which is absolutely terrifying, but they're not talking about it or thinking about it. Kansas City is just focused on whatever is in front of them. They are a runaway train, and they're just going to plow through any team that tries to stand in front of them on their way to the championship. But for Gotham, this is a chance for them to go on the road. And we talked to Lily Real about this game and this matchup. So take a listen to what Gotham rookie and defender Lily Real had to say about the quarterfinal matchup against Kansas City. If you think about the build-up to this quarterfinal match against the Current and reflecting on the previous two regular season meetings with Kansas City, what is the team building on and focusing on in this quarterfinal matchup?
Yeah, I think for us, we're a team that has gone through a lot of different ebbs and flows and different lineups. So it is exciting to know that we, can put out a bunch of different players who can play and execute the style that we want. But I think it's just, at this time of year, how can we get the best out of each person's individual performance? And then also, how can that collectively come together to put together a winning performance against this top team. So I think for us going into this game, we definitely, want to just figure out how we can put the pieces together, because there's potential to, beat this team, of course. And it's just finding a way to do it that still fits our style in the way that we want to do it, that I think we need to figure out.
Nice. It's folks are gonna, like, casuals who are maybe tuning into the playoffs because they're like, here's the exciting time, we want to just jump in, who are maybe unfamiliar with Gotham and maybe are just looking on paper that, hey, this number 8 team lost already twice to this number 1 team. What is the message that you want to send to the casuals who are tuning in, and what can they expect from Gotham?
Yeah, I think for us, not only just because we're from the New Jersey, New York area, I think our team really prides itself on being a very gritty, passionate, and aggressive team. And I think you can expect nothing less of that in the playoffs. I think, if anything, we want to ramp that up a little and play into our strengths a little bit more. So for us, I think going into the playoffs, why you should watch us, because it's entertaining and we're going to really put our best foot forward to upset this team. But I think at the same time, we are trying to find, our final form as a team. We've, like I said, gone through a lot of different rotations and ebbs and flows, but I think this is definitely the time where it's all going to come together and we can put together a performance that's worthy of beating Kansas City.
Oh, hey, welcome back. So Lily Real, she talked about what they expect, Jen, in this game against Kansas City. What do you think? What do you think of what she said?
I mean, I think what stood out to me was talking about the rotations and to use her words exactly, trying to find form. I don't think that's a confident place to be in. I actually felt for her when she was saying that. You want to go into the playoffs and everyone knowing their role, almost knowing your 11, right? Because that's the way that you're playing. That's the way that you feel comfortable with. You feel confident. Of course, and if you're not in that 11, you're gutted. But you still know if you're on the bench, if you're coming into the game, you know what you need to do. So I felt for her a little bit when she was saying that. I felt like using those kind of words is something you normally hear at the start of a season, right? Where trying to find form, trying to click, trying to connect. So I was a little bit surprised to hear her say that, but I still felt the confidence in her, knowing that if the team found that, they can go and execute it and cause an upset, because that's what it will be off the back of Kansas's form and season they've had. So a little bit surprised, but again, you have to have the confidence going into whatever game that you know you're going to go and get it. And I do believe that, they do have one of the strongest midfields in the league, and no doubt she'll be playing, man. Come on, she has to be in the team.
I would have said that on decision day, though.
Right.
Coming off of a national team camp where her minutes were very monitored. It wasn't like she was one of the players like Michelle Cooper, who put in a huge shift during the camp. I don't know. I have a lot of questions. Even listening to that, I had a similar sentiment of, oh, they seem still confused going into playoffs against record-breaking Kansas City Current, who knows exactly what they're doing. And they're still tinkering with what their game plan is and how they're going to come out. And that feels like to Lily. That's a lot of that's out of her control. That she's playing a role on the team going into playoffs. It's kind of to my point earlier of the coaching decisions that I'm very much looking forward to how Juan Carlos lines his team up against Kansas City, because I actually think both of these coaches are very stubborn in the way that, hey, I'm not going to change the way we play. We're going to do our thing, da-da-da. But then when we're getting the vibes that no one's really that sure against Kansas City, they're still tinkering, they're still trying to figure it out and coming up with the best game plan. You don't already have that from the whole season you just put together?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping we see some sort of big change, because you simply have to respect the way that Kansas City plays, especially if Temwa Shawinga is in that lineup. Even if she only gets a 10-minute whatever to play, that's a huge X factor going against them.
Honestly, it would be better for Kansas City if Temwa can only play like 15 minutes or something, and they bring her on in like the 75th minute. That is way more terrifying if you're Gotham than if she starts the game.
Yeah.
100%. Because the memory I go back to is when we first saw Temwa Shawinga at Gotham at Sports Illustrated, and that ball was cleared out. Bia kicks it over the half line, and Temwa put her head down and just woo, woo, woo. Poor Neely Martin was left in the dust. The entire backline of Gotham was left in the dust. She ends up finishing it with like 20 yards between her and everybody else. And I was like, that is the most special player in the league that I've seen and in a long time. So she can only come in for even 5 minutes. They got to change something.
It would change the game. Gotham has an uphill battle going to CPKC, taking on the Shield winners, the record breakers in Kansas City. We all have Kansas City advancing out of this one. But hey, never say never. It is the playoffs, and it is Gotham in that 8th spot. The last time they finished 8th, they went on in 2023 to win the championship, Jen.
That would be an upset, I will say. If Gotham if we're talking about upsets.
Wait. Let me write that down. That would be an upset? Okay.
Okay.
Does anybody have Gotham going through on this from our E3 squad?
I
feel like Christine would, if anybody or something.
Audrey, can you let us know about that one? We'll check on that. All right, let's move on. Orlando Pride against Seattle Reign, number 4 versus number 5.
That's right. Christine.
No way. Let's go.
I knew it would be Christine.
So good.
Who does she have winning it?
Washington Spirit.
Okay.
Rematch of last year's final.
All right. Hey, Gotham fans, stick with Christine Cupo. She's got that upset happening. Let's talk number 5, Orlando Pride against Seattle Reign. It'll be the second meeting in the quarterfinals between these two teams in just 5 days. They played to a 1-1 draw on decision day, Darian, but they see each other again immediately. How is this one going to be different than decision day?
Should we ask ChatGPT? No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I'm here for it. I like to tinker with ChatGPT. I love Laura Harvey. She knows I'm just messing with her. But
all the time.
Yeah, it's like whatever. Give me an idea. It's tough when you just come off of playing a team like that, and it's not an exciting game, in my opinion. I even have this game. When I was looking at the playoffs, I thought, out of all of them, this one's probably going to go to penalties.
Boo.
I know. Even I went, yuck,
And it's the
as
late
I was
one.
typing it
Come
out.
on.
Yeah, I really do.
I mean, this game was ugly on decision day. It was like a snooze.
We knew it was going to be, though.
But I don't know. I feel like to state the obvious, it's different because it doesn't rely on 3 points or not. It's a winner takes all. So I do think, I don't know. I mean, I've said Pride will edge it because I 100% think they will. But I think they have more strength going forward, that if they need to go and push players forward to win the game, they will have the confidence to do that. Seattle have been quite comfortable sitting back without the ball, not creating many chances. That's not what you need in a playoff push. I think Orlando are much more possession style based. They want to have the ball, control the game, and create multiple chances. And if they need to, be a bit more fluid in formation and throw players forward in these sort of playoff moments that you need to towards the end game. We haven't seen Seattle do that. So I think that's why this game's different. I think you'll see more changes in throwing players forward later on in the game. Goalkeeper will go up at a corner and score. Just kidding.
Hey! That would be
Come on, Anna. I would love if Anna scored. I would lose my mind.
I am all for that. Yeah, I mean, it's in this game on decision day, Seattle was absolutely passive in the way that they played. They let Orlando do whatever the heck they wanted. They got pinned back. They didn't utilize the strengths that the Reign have, which is these wide wingback players that want to get forward and utilize themselves in the attack and whip crosses in. And we didn't even see that until like the very end of the game. So I think it's going to be a similar game plan that Laura Harvey has, and also Seb Hines has, as, okay, let's control this game. Let's control the tempo and the possession of it. And if Orlando pins back Seattle, or when Orlando pins back Seattle and their outside backs, they have to get going. They have to go forward and be more direct. And that's where Seattle could hurt Orlando if they send one or two players in over the top and in behind. This, to me, was my upset in my bracket because I have Seattle winning it. Which I think would be an upset to take down the reigning Shield winners, the reigning champions. And I think Orlando has a little bit more on paper to get this game over the line, but I think Seattle has the grittiness, and that's what you need in the playoffs, especially if it's going to double overtime and then into penalties. It is going to be the edge of the grittiness of Seattle that could win this. But Seattle on the road isn't very good. Like Orlando's record over Seattle since the start of 2024 is unbeaten in all four of their meetings, and they're only one of two teams to record 3 wins over Seattle in the last 2 games. Seattle doesn't let teams just beat them time and time again, and I think Laura Harvey's going to say enough is enough and try to play a little bit more blue collar, direct, go in behind in this game.
So are you saying Seattle win in regular time?
No.
You don't like extra time?
I think
PKs.
I could see this one going all the way to penalties too.
Okay.
I don't want it to.
Boo! Yuck.
I can't see Seattle beating Pride. If it goes pens, I can't see Seattle beating Pride on pens.
Guys, I think we're all forgetting. Orlando has Marta. Orlando has Marta. She thrives in high pressure in playoffs. She leads. She scores goals. She sambas over the ball, dicing up defenders left and right.
Nice.
When you have someone like that is just firepower in a footballer, in an icon, Orlando has the edge. I think, sure, Seattle defensively, very pragmatic, very straightforward. We know what to expect. It's going to be a bit of suffer ball. It's not going to be that exciting until they start bombing their wingbacks forward, sure. But Orlando has Marta, the set piece queen. Like, I think if Orlando can be a little bit more clinical early in the game, maybe it'll be done in 90 minutes. But I actually see a similar result in it going to penalties, but I think Orlando would win in penalties.
I don't think Seattle wants it to go to penalties because I don't think that they would have the upper hand once they get to spot kicks. But it's late in this game, I could see Seattle pulling some things out. They have the 3rd fewest goals conceded in the final 15 minutes in the NWSL, and they've scored 9 goals in the final 15 minutes of games. So last waning seconds of games, Seattle turns it on and they know how to play. I like this one. I like this one. And I'm sticking with Seattle.
Sticking with Pride.
I'm going with rain.
Team with you. I'm sticking with Pride, guys. I still think they can do it in regular time as well. I think even with their up and down form all season, when you like have an experienced player like Marta who's played in all of these big games before and having just played Seattle, you know, that experience of playing up against a low block, they've been practicing that all week, breaking down a low block. How do we do it? Where's the space? How do we create space? I think when you've just had all of that in your head so recent as a player, all you're going to be thinking about is how to break that down. So I think Pride. I'm pitching Pride.
Also, let's take some shots from distance. Yeah. Let's pull them out. They have midfielders that can do it between McCutcheon. I mean, not so much McCutcheon. Marta, Angelina. Carriabello is not afraid to score a banger. Like, that's how you're going to pull them out, and then there's time to break down. But
it's got to be a big one to beat Claudia Dickey. She's been
true.
awesome.
Honestly, even when we were bringing up penalties, I'm like, the swagger of Claudia Dickey, y'all, I don't know.
Right.
But I would take the shooters at Orlando over the shooters at Seattle.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's what. Pretty even.
Yeah, agreed.
Claudia Dickey is hella athletic. She can get stuff. I like this one, guys. NWSL playoffs. They all start tomorrow on Friday, and the big one, Washington Spirit against Racing Louisville. That is Saturday at noon on CBS. Tune in. We will see you there. But don't go anywhere. We are heading over to England, chatting Barclays WSL next. Stick with us.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars. What a difference she has made.
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount+.
Hey, welcome back to A3. It's been a minute since we have talked WSL and what is happening in England this time of year. This weekend is a huge match. The London Derby between Arsenal and Chelsea is happening. It is on November 8th. And this is a really big one for Arsenal. They have dropped points in 3 games this year. They've slipped to 5th in the WSL, and these are the reigning Champions League winners. They are a team that wants to compete for the WSL title. Jen, they haven't beaten Arsenal, a top team, yet in the WSL. This is their chance against Chelsea, but what is it going to take for Arsenal to do it?
It's massive. They obviously lost to Lyon in the Champions League. They came up short against Manchester City. So this is by far, I think, their biggest game of the season, because they need to come up and compete against a top team and come away with points. And no better place to play it than at home in the Emirates in front of what I reckon will be a sold out crowd. If I could be in 2 places at once this weekend, guys, I would. One would be there, and one would be in CBS Studios. But no, this is huge for them. They have a massive run of games as well. They have Chelsea, Bayern Munich Champions League, and then North London Derby against Tottenham. And I think the biggest thing for Arsenal was coming back from the international break. They made a lot of rotations in the league, but came away with a strong 4-1 win. I think it was Blackstenius scoring a couple and being a standout. So they've had a few niggles. You know, we might not necessarily see their strongest team at the weekend, which but I still think, regardless who's on the pitch, they have to be the team. Everyone's similar to Kansas City. Everyone's looking as to who can beat Chelsea, who can stop that unbeaten run, get 3 points. If they can do it, I think this could be the turning point in their league, because they are. I'm telling you, they're not happy with 5th in the league. That is nowhere near where they want to be in the WSL. So big weekend for them, and yeah, can't wait to watch it as well.
I'm looking at this match. I think this is such a tempo setter for Arsenal going forward, because they have fallen short. I'm sure, Jen, you can speak from their own expectations, but all of ours from last season. Like, I would have thought coming into this is the team to beat. This is who is going to knock Chelsea off of their throne. Here we go. And it's just fallen so flat. I haven't seen a convincing performance yet from Arsenal. But if we got this match, and I'm running this back to Champions League, where they played the perfect final, in my opinion, if they could do something like that again, they still have that edge. Maybe all of the parts aren't coming together perfectly right now, but they can do it as a team. This would reset everything going forward. It would be just the perfect moment for them to do this. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm going with Chelsea. I think Chelsea's gonna win. Sorry, Jen.
I mean, but like, I don't blame you. Chelsea have been nothing short of incredible with what they've done already. Still breaking records. I love listening to Sonia Bonpastor and the kind of level-headed she always is when she speaks about her players, and the quality. I think Ellie Carpenter is one of the best outside backs in the world right now. I think she is
tremendously for
she's
Chelsea.
just
Such a good job.
constantly in that high-speed zone. I don't know where she is. It's up
She
and
doesn't
down.
get tired.
Ability of crosses. I always say people who put crosses in the box that aren't just throwing it in there, they're picking players out. And then I think you have to look at a player like Sam Kerr, who's been out for a long time, but is still not getting that starting place because Aggie Beaver-Jones is absolutely crushing it and stepping up and showing a level of maturity, not just for Chelsea, but for England as well, having a brilliant international break and kind of almost pushing Alessia Russo for the number 9. So stacked, we talk of stacked rosters. Chelsea is one of them. They have, just so many players. Baltimore on the wide area, wherever she plays, is such a threat. So it's like, listen, Arsenal's my team, always will be, but it's going to be a huge, huge test to beat Chelsea. But can it be a turning point? Absolutely. I'm still going to back them. 2-1 at home. Come on.
1 at home for Arsenal. It would mean a lot if they could take down this Chelsea team, but it would also take a lot to do that. Plus, they have Champions League coming up. I mean, it's not an easy feat by any means, especially when you look at, like you mentioned, how deep Chelsea is. And I think when we think of the depth of Chelsea, we talk about some of the superstars that play, but Aggie Beaver-Jones has made herself such a valuable asset that Chelsea uses this year. And she has made herself unable to be taken off the pitch and earn such a good job. So if this happens, if this could be Chelsea's first loss of the season, Jen, on the pitch, is there one area where it could be won or lost for Chelsea?
Won or lost for Chelsea?
Yeah. Like if this is a game that Arsenal could take them down, where would the weak point be?
Chelsea love to throw outside backs forward, whether it's Lucy Bronze, Ellie Carpenter. For me, as soon as you do that, whether it's a brilliant for Chelsea, it's been so effective, but it leaves space, right? And I think whether they play in a back 3 or, a back 4 will be so key, because players who are on the pitch already or who come into it, I think Beth Mead's now the record assist holder for WSL, because whether she starts, whether she comes into it, she's so clever at spotting that space that is left by outside backs to play in balls for Stina Blackstenius. Whether she starts or comes into it, whoever's on the pitch has to be so aware of that space that's left in the wide areas to just capitalize on the space being left. And I think those are the really tactically sound players at Arsenal that can do that, because that's what Chelsea do. And it's a credit to how effective Chelsea have been against other teams, but that's where the space is. The space is there because their outside backs get forward so quickly.
London Derby, Arsenal, Chelsea coming up this weekend. And you can watch both of those teams in action next week in Women's Champions League. You can watch all of that on Paramount Plus. But if we're looking at WSL as at a whole, at a glance, if you will, Tottenham Spurs, the freaking Hotspurs, what the heck is going on? They have 5 wins. They sit in 4th. Didn't expect that at the start of this season.
The Spurs, the Hotspurs. We I honestly, they're probably my biggest upset this season, because they had a really tough year last year. They were almost in the relegation battle up until the last game of the season. So I had them struggling coming into this year, but what the manager has done with them, like, they're actually such a joy to watch. They play really good football, great patterns of play, and they've been solid against the teams around them in the ladder, which is what you have to do to make those jumps. They've not necessarily beaten a top team just yet, but they're picking up points against teams around them. So they've been so impressive. I don't think anyone expected them to be where they're at, but they look so organized, so disciplined. I think Beth England's a credit to herself, scoring goals, doing very, very well. So no, they've looked great, and that's tough for me to say as an Arsenal fan. But London Derby as well coming up. That'll be a massive game, and that's what I'm saying. This run for Arsenal coming up is not easy whatsoever. North London Derby, on paper, wasn't necessarily, a derby in a sense of top ladder head to head, but this is huge for Arsenal now. You're playing against that you could, you have to get 3 points out of that game as well. So credit to Spurs. They've been, awesome this year, and their manager's done a brilliant job with them, actually.
So Arsenal, they play Chelsea this weekend, and then in Champions League, Bayern Munich, then Tottenham, then Real Madrid in Champions League, and then Liverpool. So they just have to get through December 6th, because Liverpool has been they have fallen this season. They are second from the bottom right now in the WSL. It's not been good for Liverpool.
Liverpool's been tough, but for me, I look at them as well. And as a club, if you are selling your captain, Taylor Hines, selling Olivia Smith, your standout all season, whenever anyone spoke about Liverpool last year, it was, but Olivia Smith, get Olivia Smith on the ball. She can create something, and she absolutely bossed it against Arsenal. And then what do Arsenal do? Buy her. So I think for Liverpool, losing two players like that, and then Gareth Taylor, old Manchester City manager, has come in and taken over and tried to do things that I think he has openly admitted publicly doesn't necessarily have the players, or it's going to take a little bit more time to implement. But they got so much money for Olivia Smith. I think everyone's waiting for the January window to kind of look at that and see who they'll sign, because they need to bolster their squad. That's where it's at.
What position does Liverpool need the most? Where should they go?
Forwards for me. I think when you're losing Taylor Hines, who played anywhere on the left hand side, whether it's fullback or wide forward, but Olivia Smith was always such a threat that could hurt teams. They haven't looked good defensively, but I feel like that's because the players that they haven't performed to their level. I still think Gemma Bonner is a top centre back. Other Scottish internationalists in the team that I just haven't been playing to their potential. So for me, where they need to fill is to fill the boots that they've let go to other clubs.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a big one coming up. I'm going to give some love to London City Lionesses, ladies.
I was going to say it too. My ride or dies.
I'll give it to you, D. They're 6th in the WSL. Better than expected or not? James Miller wants to know from you, D. Is this what you expected?
I still want them to do better. They started off the season horribly, all over the place, but they're finding their footing. This team just needed time to gel. It's a bunch of veterans. It's a bunch of stars. It's going to happen. They're going to be much more difficult to beat. They're going to be much better defensively coming up. But yeah, y'all, 6th place. This isn't bad.
There's a little run for London City Lionesses coming up too, because they take on Spurs, then Villa, then Brighton, then Leicester. Like, they have a chance to stay at the top, pick up a really good momentum in these next couple of matches, make sure they stay at the top contending. If they can break into that top 4, like, that's crazy. We're getting like way more competitive top of the table WSL than I think we anticipated coming into this season.
More parity, would you say?
Yes.
Not as much as the NWSL. Hey, if you guys didn't go see it, go check out W Galazzo socials, because Jen and Darian, they were on with the UCL Today show yesterday. That was Wednesday this week. You chatted with Kate, you chatted with Micah, all about that. WSL, NWSL, a lot of fun things. Did you guys have a good time doing that?
So fun. Yeah, I mean, it's so fun to be a part of it. We had fun, right, Darian? We had no idea what to expect, really, because they're so much fun and an awesome group. But yeah, it was great to chat to them. Great to chat to them. They're so lovely.
Yeah, so go check it out.
Jamie's there.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunate for you. Go check it out. W Galazzo socials and on YouTube. You can see all the action, and of course, always listen to Attacking Third and watch it. Thanks everyone for hanging with us. A3 is going to be back after NWSL quarterfinals this weekend, as soon as they wrap up on Sunday, November 9th at 5 p.m. after Portland Thorns San Diego, and we will recap all of the first round matchups and everything that happens. So have a great weekend. Enjoy NWSL playoffs. Let us know your picks and predictions. And thanks for hanging with us. For Jen, Darian, Audrey, and Phil and Lisa, this was Attacking Third.